Hello, fellow pilots. It's Kevin here. I wanted to make this video to remap some switches here regarding the Blade 230S and the DX9 transmitter. Originally, your panic recovery is mapped over here to the I switch, the momentary push button switch. And I would like to move it from there to the toggle, on-off toggle switch on the left-hand side here, the yellow one, which to me is seems a little easier to hit than reaching up over on top here. The other change I wanted to make was this switch has your flight modes, your normal idle up 1, idle up 2, but the gear is also tied into it, giving your stability mode, intermediate mode, and your 3D mode, respectively, flipping, between normal and idle up 1, idle up 2. So in other words, if you're in idle up 2, you couldn't have stability mode because it's tied in such a fashion with that switch. Now, what I wanted to do was move the gear to switch C here, which would make that just a little more easily, to change your different gear modes. Say you want to fly stability, but in idle up 1 or idle up 2, that wasn't possible with the original mapping. So we're going to get right into this and show you exactly how we're going to change the channel mapping in the transmitter. Now, the mapping that I mentioned does not have to be exactly as I've placed it, say, onto the C switch here for the gear. I mean, you have many options. You can go to the D switch, or even a crossover to the E or F, or even if you wanted to use your G switch. The H probably not, because most people, I think, personally myself, I have my hold switch there, throttle hold. But to get into the mapping here, I'm just going to show you on the transmitter. First of all, we want to do is we want to go into the system setup, and yes, go into now the channel assign. And in the channel assign here, on this first page under RX ports and assignments, we don't touch anything here, but we're going to go to the next page on here. And now we can see that right now, if you look at channel 5, the gear is B. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down there and switch that over to C, and aux2, which is showing up as I, I'm going to change that over to A. Oops. A little touchy here. Flip this over to A. So now we have our map channel configuration set up, the inputs. What we want to do then is we want to go into the digital. We can check it in digital switch setup right here to see exactly how that looks now. And if we go and select the switch, flight mode is inhibited. A now is aux2 because we've changed it from the I switch, and B is inhibited where it was the switch B. And C now is showing as the gear channel. And if we go on to I, it shouldn't be there anymore. It's also inhibited. Okay, so now we know that the digital switch setup is correct. Now we have to go into the mix. So what we have to do here, let's see, it's not under here, but we have to go back into the main screen. And now we go into our mix, because the mix is where we do the mixing for the bailout. And I probably passed it here someplace. Oh, there it is, mixing. Okay, so now if we go into here under the mix 1, we can see that mix 1 shows, let's see if we got that focused there. Okay, mix 1 shows I, channel switch I, as being the gear switch. Now we want to switch that over. Oops, we went out of there. We would like to actually go here and switch that to A, because now we want the A switch to be the one that's hooked into it. Let's see. There's A, and we go down here and switch this over to A. And go back. And we can back out of here. And we'll just test this to see on the monitor. We have nothing happening there when I hit
panic recovery.
It says panic recovery because I did not change the voice on that. But let's see what happens here when we flip A. If we look at aux 2, that's where we should see the change. And as you can see, it went to minus 100 right over here. And if we flip it off, that's in panic recovery, flip it off and it goes back to 100. So now we know that's working. Also, the gear switch goes, or the gear channel jumps to 150. Okay. And now we can check our flight modes.
Timer start. Agility mode.
There's agility mode. I'm going to have to change that. That's idle up 1.
Agility
and
mode.
Then idle up 2. So
agility mode.
Now what we'll see is
mode.
that the we'll notice that we go to the C switch here. There will be a difference in our gear channel. As you see here in position 0, we have 100. Position 1 gives you 0. And then position 2 gives you minus 100. Okay, so that's the changes that have occurred. It has changed the mapping, and you can tell in the monitor. Now, to make sure that all these things are working properly on your Heli, just on your 230S, all you have to do is bind it and do a bench test and see how the swash plate reacts to the different inputs. And that goes without saying, something that should be tested regardless before any flight testing or anything like that, to catch any kind of anomalies that may be occurring. So I hope this was helpful in setting up your radio. And of course the voice, you can change all the voice commands and stuff like that. There are videos out there showing you how to do that. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and again, I hope this video was helpful, and if it was, if you can hit the like button and subscribe to my TechMan channel. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.